We have a lot to cover today, and I want to be very timely and very respectful of your time, and some of what we're going to discuss is how things begin and end exactly on time. And with the great assistance of these AV professionals, we overcame a poor resolution setting. Folks, I want to begin with kind of framing in a little bit of where our passion is and as an organization, and personally to me, to each of you as a colleague. I believe in my soul that all the gold in life, and I'm going to say it again, that all the gold in life is found in the relationships that each of us have, the relationships that we hold so dear, and the relationships that we have the courage to build together. We are blessed in an industry that is so far-reaching. We really are kind of a fraternal organization, and Digital Dealer is an opportunity for us, regionally dependent, once or twice a year, depending on your commitment, for us to all get together and share and collaborate. This is about my 15th Digital Dealer, and it's nice to see so many of you here, so thank you very much. Blessed to Serve is a call. Blessed to Serve for us happens to also be a 501c3 organization that we founded to help men, women, and families that are recently homeless, and I'd love to talk all 50 minutes about that, but I don't want you guys to miss the opportunity that to be a blessing is to serve the lives of the men and women that you're responsible for. My name is Erich Gail, and I have the esteemed pleasure of leading a collection of companies branded as the Cardinelli Group of Companies. We are ever growing and reaching and stretching to our outer limits the extent of our operation in service to primarily our key brands. And our anchor brand, our founding brand, is the Cardinelli Automotive Group. We are blessed with currently 19 locations serving 3 states. We hope to have that number increase, but as it stands now, that's our existing footprint. Las Vegas is a new home for us. We acquired 2 stores here last year, and we are very blessed to have them added to our portfolio. I mentioned that this is my 15th Digital Dealer, okay? And I can't share with you enough of the gold that we have taken away from sessions like this from men and women and brilliant minds who have invested of themselves to give to us the gold that we can take back to our operations. When we first came to Digital Dealer, digital for us was a blinky light, a broken OEM mandated website, and a shit ton of money in third-party vendors. That was our digital strategy, okay? We sat in the front row, like Kevin Fry, okay? We sat in the front row, we continue to sit in the front row. We want to learn and consume as much as we can. And what we've taken away, folks, mindful that now it's more iPads than pen and paper, I'm still a pen and paper guy, is boxes and literally reams of paper and notes of every conceivable possible thing that we could digest that we would then prioritize and take back to our stores. The byproduct of that I shared with you where we were resulted in for us last year over 22,000 units that we sold through an e-transacted form fill, chat, whatever environment as rated by Wards. I don't know if you can see this, but this is really important, okay? If you hear something, those of you who rely on your audible skills as a sponge, you have at best, Stanford research study, at best, a 7 to 10% retention. So in a 50-minute presentation, you'll get 5 minutes maybe that will actually retain with you, okay? If, however, you write it down, your percentage of retention increases to 23, maybe 25%. Stop and think about that for just a moment. At our best, having written it down, front row, reams of paper, boxes, all kinds of stuff that goes back with us, I'll get a 1/4 of this. The 1/4 I hope you get today, should that be you, I can't decide, but I hope my gold in presenting and sharing with you today is if I can give you one thing that helps your operation move more efficiently, more profitably, okay? Helps you move 1 mile an hour faster than we've succeeded, okay? If, however, at the very end, If you hear it, if you write it down, and if you take it upon yourself to teach it to the men and women that you are responsible for back in your operations, your retention will jump to plus 73%. It's not possible to retain everything, but that's a stark improvement. All right? One of our, I guess, consumer-facing or dealer-facing enterprises is called ZMOT. This is a no-pitch zone, and this is a no-pitch company. Okay? But what we learned, we began to weaponize for ourselves. And granted, we've got scale. We have just under 20 stores. We were able to do things for ourselves. So this enterprise for us is really at our very nucleus, but it's kind of like Fight Club. We just don't really talk about it. Okay? But what it is a manifestation of our disciplines and our processes and how we do business. And being in the relationship business, it allows us to work with fellow dealers outside of our competing market areas. That's the end of it. I share that just for a matter of perspective. Many times I'm asked, wherever I'm supposed to point this, okay? Many times I'm asked, what is some of the root advantages that you have in this organization? You're very disciplined, you're very profitable, you know your metrics, in and out, on the hour, by store, by person, by team, okay? And I will share with you that if you've heard me share before, we are very much an ROI-driven organization. Now, everybody can say that, but I want to share with you that philosophically for us, everything we do, every dollar, every minute spent, every resource, every collaboration is an investment. It is not a cost. Raise your hand if you've had someone tell you, all we have to do is sell 3 cars to cover this new thing. Why would I give you 3 cars to cover anything, right? I'm not giving up 3 deals for anybody, right? Now, if XYZ has an investment that I can establish as a 3-car gross, then I need 15 or 20 or 25 for that to start to make sense, yes? I need the return or it just isn't worth doing it, okay? Many of us in this room that are challenged with the constant balance between chasing the OEM stair step, we know what that looks like about the 22nd of the month, okay? We're going to kill ourselves between now and the end of the month on the hope plan that we hit, and if we miss, all that work was for what? Take a big bleeder, okay? So we need to work smart and very mindful that everything that we do has to have that trackable ROI, directly to the investment of our time or our money. We began, as you see, our collection of companies continues to grow. That is, for us, kind of a necessity, okay? We have reached a point where we need to diversify how and in what manners we do business. All things we do are automotive, centered and anchored by our automotive group. However, we are diversifying ourselves to extend our ecosystem, as are many. OEMs, massive third-party conglomerates, right? And I would ask that while I'm not asking you all to go out and start a bunch of other businesses, don't take that off the table, number one. Number two, be mindful that in the face of our consumers, we need to be the only part of the ecosystem. We are the very center. Okay, let me clarify that. If I invest my money into XYZ platform that promotes someone else's brand, whose ecosystem am I in? Anybody? If I invest my money onto a platform that does not carry my brand name, whose ecosystem am I in? I'm in someone else's. They make the rules. They control everything. They decide when I'm in and when I'm out, or if they choose to jump the rate 300%, and now I'm out. And if my strategy has been to lay all my tracks leading down that road, where am I? I'm subject to, and that's not okay. All right? To achieve, sorry, there was my big ecosystem slide here. That's what we're supposed to do, okay? If I put my money behind something on behalf of our associates in our stores and our regions and their futures and their families, then by God, when you touch a button, click a link, whose website, whose team are you going to connect directly with? Ours. Yes? That's the rules, folks, now. All right? Now, what I want to share with you is something that as we looked at kind of the frightening reality, we have some legislative protections for now, right? Dealers in the room, you all know exactly what I'm talking about. We are legislative shifts away from the whole industry becoming something that's vastly different than it is today. Would you agree? Okay. So, fair to say that I'm a bit old to go to medical school or be a lube tech, okay? So I don't know that I'm shifting careers at this point, nor are the 1,000+ associates and their families that we employ. So in order for us to be mindful that we need to continue to reach, stretch, and grow, to achieve the goals that we've never achieved before, we need to start doing things that we've not done before. That's pretty basic, yeah? It's terrifying. You start getting into stuff where you're like, I know it's right, holy shit, it's counter to what we were doing a year ago, and I don't want to be the flip-floppy leader that keeps changing course, all right? We believe, as I've shared many times, that if you boil down the entirety of what our responsibilities are, it comes to discipline and math, period. Anytime someone tells you, yeah, I get it, Jim, who I see over there, how are you, brother? I get it, Jim. Yeah, blah, blah with all your strategy stuff. Car business is easy on paper. That is weakness and insecurity rising to the top. Whenever you hear that quote, eliminate it. All right? Yes, practical boots on the ground, practical implementation of what we're supposed to do requires work, and we work in an ever-shifting, sanded environment. However, the plan is the plan. The metrics are the metrics. If you want to be a 100-unit store and you have 5 sales associates, can you do it? Well, once, with a shit ton of spiffs and crates of Red Bull, but what happens the next month? When everybody's fat, rich, and good-looking and friggin' exhausted, right? You'll tube, you'll do 30 units, okay? Courage, 7 letters that will change your life. I would write it down. Anytime the pit of your stomach says, I'm terrified, well, good. That's what goes along with your responsibilities, okay? The courage is to say no, or yes, or to define the objectives of what we're supposed to achieve and get to work, all right? What I want to share with you today is how to lead a world-class meeting, okay? Now, for any of you that go, are you shitting me? That's what I'm here to learn how to do, okay? That's exactly what I said. When we first embraced the science of what is called EOS. This is not ours, so I need to give them complete and total credit. I would write it down. It is a monstrous study that I am going to now in the next 37-ish minutes. I'm going to give you the takeaway gold of what was 6+ months. We are voracious readers in our organization, juggling 3, 4, 5 books at any given time, okay? Constantly looking to search, stretch, reach, and grow. EOS is a full-blown system, and with no pitching, we have no skin in this game other than we have been enormous recipients of the unfair advantage that comes from what I'm going to show you, okay? So I would highly recommend, because we're users of it, that if you're interested, go look at it. It's books, it's a system, all right? But it is broken down into, and guys, you're all going to get this deck. So I do want you to write things down, but you're not going to try to scribe every slide, all right? Vision, data, process, traction, issues, people, and then your business is the nucleus. Ta-da! The difference is you work in your business and on your business. And there are people inside the organizations that have responsibility to do one or the other. All right? Now, as a precursor for those of you that are looking for the back door going, there's no friggin' way I want to learn how to do another meeting. I don't need another meeting. This is about elimination of meetings, okay? We're scraping $1 billion in capitalized enterprise, okay? We have over 1,000 associates in 3 different countries, and I can assure you this, there are associates from our organization here. I can run the entire organization, mindful that everybody's doing their jobs, in a 90-minute meeting once a week. This is what I'm going to show you, okay? And I'm not oversimplifying this. The first thing you need to do to prepare yourself is you have to ask yourself, what is our core focus? What is our purpose? What is our cause? What is our passion? Now, courage to play. We don't have it. I have no idea what he's talking about. Well, then just write it down. This is not about being embarrassed, folks. If you don't have it, identify that you don't have it, okay? The courage says, I'm the leader, I'm the boss, I'm supposed to have all the answers. No, you're not. You're supposed to have a shit ton of questions, okay? So grab a bunch of people, feed them Chinese, lock the door, and don't let anybody out until you figure out the answer. Is that fair? Doesn't mean you have to be the smartest one in the room. And if you are, probably in the wrong room. Is that fair? Time to find a new room, okay? For us, everything we are as an organization is boiled down into one brand promise. Every single Cardinelli branded organization carries an interlocking CW. It's everything for us. It guides every single decision that we make. And it says that we, not me, not you, we, together, we will develop, we will go to work, okay, to build an outstanding, not a good enough, not a check the box, not, yeah, they kind of enjoyed the experience, we might get them into service. No, outstanding. Relationship, you are a member of our family. Welcome home. Need a quick gauge of how your stores look? Walk through them. If it doesn't feel like you'd bring your mother there, or that you would treat or welcome your guests there, because there's all kinds of God only knows what taped to the walls and shit everywhere and paper clips and all this other kind of stuff, that's not your home. And if it is, right, then you need to look at what type of experience am I providing in the relationship to the family of the men and women that I serve. Did you have a question, sir?
Customer-facing statement?
Yes. It's internal for us. Every associate in our organization is branded. Branded, even if you're not even customer-facing, you're branded. Because to put that on every day is to be mindful of what my responsibilities are, because I'm a standard bearer. I bear the standards of the organization. We often say what happens in Vegas affects our North Lake Tahoe store. And they're, what, 1,000 miles apart? Do something terrible wearing our brand, and you've affected your brothers and sisters who had no idea that that happened. Yet they, as we all, will pay the price. Same goes on the other side, all right? Core values. This is difficult, folks. Until we embrace this process, we did not have core values. We said we did, but if I lined up the 9 men and women that represent our senior leadership team and asked them what they were, it was about 26, right? So with the help of, and again, going through this process, we whittled ours down to 7. It could be 3, it could be 4, it could be 10, whatever it is. The core values for us, I didn't want to twist the logo, so I'm going to read them to you real quick. The IT factor, intensity and trust, absolute. Positive energy, integrity, to be of service. We are a family not just in ownership, holdings, and name. We are a family of associates throughout the organization, and our guests are a member of our family. Critical to have family there. Accountable. We are accountable. There are no excuses. If you want to write something down to use in your sales meetings, write down this. We either make money or we make excuses. Which one's it going to be? And I dare you to have someone go, I'm in the excuses camp. Nobody's going to co-sign that, all right? And world-class. Now, world-class may seem a little ambiguous. How can you say that you're world-class? What's the definition of world-class? We don't know, but we'll never achieve it, yet it is something that is our North Star to be better every single day and challenge ourselves to say that what we did yesterday is not necessarily good enough today. So world-class is a North Star. When I wanted to talk about this real quick, the core values for us are placed in a card. That was the graphic. I wanted to show you that, okay? If you need alignment of your teams, okay, and you're having a difficult time getting everyone to follow in alignment to the same direction, you lack your core values. Also, hiring issues. Who's made them? Who's made them? Who's made terrible hiring issues? Who's made hiring problems? I got Mr. Right versus, I got Mr. Right now, or Mrs. Right now, because I was in pain, when I should have held out for another 4 or 5 days, done more research, and hired Mr. or Mrs. Right. Okay? For us, every Cardinelli branded associate on their body at all times is the core values card. When we make a potential partnership agreement, hiring decision, investment, this is not a, boy, I sure hope they have a couple of these things. You must possess them. Okay? They are must-haves and you must provide them. That's the underlying nature of our culture. All right? All right, and so we begin. Again, I'm going to take 6 months and try to cram it down into 30 minutes. But so folks, you're going to get this. But here's the goal. Do you have, and I don't care if your name's on the building or not, okay? Let's be mindful that if you are an employee of, so is the owner. They just happen to be the end recipient of what is the net. They have a job too, okay? Everyone is responsible and accountable on through the organization, all right? Do you have a 5-year target? If you do not, I would identify one. And if you would like, for the purpose of discussion, let's take a store that nets $1 million a year, okay? And let's be mindful of what future changes are and legislative issues and ecosystem challenges and stuff. So we would love to say in 5 years we're going to be a $2 billion store. Let's be a little more realistic, okay? Let's say it's 1.5. Well, that's great. What's going to happen in 5 years with no plan? It's going to be, here's an old sticky note from Digital Dealer 23 where I said we were going to be 1.5. We haven't done shit, all right? So write down a 5-year target. Now, the reason I had asked before or mentioned that whether your name's on the building or not, you could be the GM, you could be the sales manager, you can be the used car buyer. You are a team. Whether you're a team of one or not, you represent an investment that your group, your owner, yourself, whatever the case may be, has put into place. You need a 5-year target. You need to know what you're going to do. And if your owner has no idea what you're coming back from Digital Dealer with, hey boss, I got a 5-year target, I got a 3-year this, a 1-year blah, blah, guess what? You come to me with something like that and I have no idea what you're talking about, but you're so well laid out and disciplined, I'm loving where you're going, so go do it. Sounds outstanding. And teach other people along the way, would you? All right? Take your 5-year target, using the 1.5 up from 1 million, and say we need to be hard at 135 in 3 years. Fair? Keep it simple, guys, but it needs to be attainable and it needs to represent a byproduct of what you're doing. Now break it down into a 1-year plan. If I'm at $1 million now, where do I need to be at the close of 2018? I'm going to be there. I have to be there. That's my 1-year plan. Right? Now you break it down into quarterly rocks. When I read this book, I literally read it 3 or 4 times. It is marked up like a 4th grader's spelling book, okay? Because I had to keep going back. What's a rock? Right? What kind of description is that? You're building a foundation, and you need big cornerstone rocks to hold it up, okay? So now you're breaking your year down into a quarter. If I'm going to achieve X net by, and there's no surprises, then I need to be at XYZ by the end of the quarter. I have 90 days to achieve this end net result. You guys follow where I'm going? Monthly scorecard. We utilize this system, folks, and I shared with you that 90 minutes will lead the entire group. But every store does one of these. Every team does one of these. They all have their scorecards. What I'm going to drive to you at the end is that every single associate throughout your entire organization, based on what you take away here, will have one number that they are responsible for every day. And it's either done or not done. If that sounds too black and white, too militaristic, think about the alternative, okay? Before we did this, folks, I've been in this industry for 28 years, and I'm sure that members of our team will chuckle with this. I was famous for, at any level of the organization, grabbing a bunch of people. Hey, come on in. We need to solve this problem. We got X, Y, Z, and I need this done. I'm going to check back with you in on Friday. Let's rock. Who's responsible? Are we guilty of that? I guarantee you that we are. We throw out a directive because we're rushed, trying to fix all the stuff that didn't get done yesterday, don't have time. Here comes the sharp, venomous tongue that doesn't exist in automotive, right? Nobody's ever frustrated or gets upset at you because they have to tell you 18 times how to do something. They never showed you how to do it right the first time. The bottom line is that it's about accountability. So let's get to a monthly scorecard. If you lead the internet department and your monthly scorecard for your store is 57 units, you didn't pull that number out of your ass. You reverse engineered it by saying, I have X number of people who set X number of appointments a day, who get X number of results, and I'm going to stretch them now to the goal that I'm a part of, because the GM told me that we need to be tracking 80 units a month by the end of the quarter, because we're a part of what is the one-year plan, 3-year, 5-year. Yes? You guys see where this starts to scale very quickly? In this room, if you take the time to break it down to a single number, put someone accountable for it. All right? Weekly to-dos. You can't say 80 units at the end of the month. Give me a swat on the ass and a little free day off program and tell me to have a great day. Okay? You got to break me down to the week. If you're going to hit 80 with a team of 5, whatever the number is, then I have to break you down per week. By Friday or by Sunday or whatever your close or wrap of a sales cycle is for a week, you need to be on track or off track on the number that's due for the week. Is that fair? And now, daily activities. Okay? What am I focused on now if I have a weekly number measured, a monthly must achieve to contribute to the quarter, and so on? We've reverse engineered all this down to the day. What am I doing today? Are we not in a today business? Okay? Now, MIT is not the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, although that's badass. Okay? It's the most important thing. But now you've identified what the most important thing is. You have to achieve the end result. Now, does that mean that I'm going to blow and go and check the box and burn through a bunch of opportunities that the dealer has invested in, if using an internet sales term? Let me smoke 10 leads, hate the word, to get my one appointment that's going to put me on track, that'll get me the car deal that I need, and blah, blah, and I just torch 90% of the other stuff? No. Have to be able to achieve the metrics that are defined by your department manager, but I have one objective as my contributor to this process. All right? Again, you're going to get this deck. This is your cheat sheet, right? Your reference guide of how we took this entire study and boiled it down to just a couple of pieces. All right? So the question is this. The universal problem with meetings. Do we need more of them? Raise your hand if better than 25% of the meetings that you attend are actually of value. Shocking. No one. And it's true. Okay? So let's eliminate them. All right? Eliminate them and replace them with one. One that has a very specific cadence to it. All right? It says here most companies hate meetings. So they never meet. I've never met that company, by the way. I know companies that love meetings. Schedule more of them, a meeting before the meeting, all right? If you hate meeting, it's not because your meetings stink. It's not because meetings stink, it's because your meetings stink. And we're guilty of that, all right? So, world-class meetings is where all the magic happens in what's called a level 10 meeting. You'll understand that when you read this. It's incredibly effective because it's a time management tool as you and your team come together for 90 minutes a week. You will save time by avoiding miscommunication, preventing train wrecks, solving issues, and keeping people accountable. You may even start to look forward to these meetings. Folks, we hold these meetings. You can set your watch by them. They begin exactly at 8:30 on Monday morning, and they are over exactly at 10 a.m. on Monday morning. And there is a very specific cadence to it, and I will share with you folks, it has changed the entire organization, and we're still sucking at this. We've only been at it a couple of months, but it will change everything. Because every person you interact with now is, I know what I got to do, I know what I got to do, I mean, they know exactly what they do, okay? Same day, same time, same agenda, starts on time, ends on time. The minute you bring those rules to a meeting, you watch how most of us will not raise our hand, start to go, wow, this is kind of a whole different deal. I mean, I don't know that I'm necessarily prepared for this. I kind of like the rabbit hole squirrel, I never really leave with a job meeting where nobody's looking over my shoulder, right? I like hiding in the shadows, okay? Yeah, the light's on, folks. If you embrace this, you're lighting up everything, including yourself, and you're holding yourself accountable, and it's really quite exciting, all right? The agenda, which we're going to talk about and you'll get, again, as part of the deck, was created to optimize your meeting efficiency, eliminate the rabbit trails, create a dedicated space for solving issues. It's important to go through all 7 components of the level 10 in order. Veering from the agenda will put you at risk. Folks, keep a timekeeper. We're going to get to that. Everything that you do from this moment forward, whether you adopt this or not, I would encourage you, the goal of this takeaway is, for God's sakes, eliminate all your meetings when it comes to your role of leading. I'm not talking about one-on-ones or training or team development. I'm talking about a full-blown management, leadership, whatever the case may be, team accountability meeting. Eliminate them all and get them down to 90 minutes. Same time, same place, starts on time, ends on time. Here's the only reasons that you can't attend the meeting. Vacation, hospital, airplane. That's it. You don't get to schedule anything over the top of it. And it will be difficult. First week you get it, you know that big hot deal you've been waiting for? Sorry. I know that sounds shocking, folks, but the minute you change this, the minute you water this commitment down, as the leader, the minute you show subjectivity here, it's broken. The team underlying culture will go, yep, went to Digital Dealer, heard some guy, you know, blah, blah, about some friggin' meeting. It's the 3rd week in, he's already rescheduled it. We're out. Discipline's lost, okay? Everything that you do must be SMA, write it down. This is another thing that we're guilty of. Throwing proclamations toward people who need guidance. I need to know if I achieved my end net result. So if you tell me to go sell a bunch of cars, I got it. Is 3 a bunch? Is 7 in a weekend great? Well, I mean, it should be, okay? But if it's specific, be specific. I need 5 by Sunday. And here's how we're going to achieve it. Make sure that it's measurable and make sure that it's achievable. Doing the overhead page, I need 47 units out by tomorrow night, and you're looking at 3 sales associates, is not achievable, okay? Be sure it's achievable. Don't be afraid to put a stretch in there, but make sure that it is achievable, okay? So here's the agenda. We're going to run through it. The segue, 5 minutes, quickly. The number of people in your meeting should probably be around 7, maybe 8. Any more than that, you start running out of time to accomplish some of these things. It's 5 minutes. It's a quick segue, folks. Takes you from working in the business and transitions you to working on the business. And all I want to know, Kevin, is share with me real quick, like 25 seconds, you don't have to do this, but in the meeting, one personal best, one professional best from the last week. Boom. Move on, move on, move on. It's amazing what you learn in 5 minutes about the lives of the men and women that you work with. One professional best, one personal best, bang. Move on. Okay? You move to your scorecard. You will, as the leader, have identified some metrics, some things that needed to be achieved from the last week, or what your monthly goal is, and are we on track to hit it? So a scorecard might be, in the example that we used earlier, I need to get to 80 units. Am I on track or am I off track? Okay? Fair? It's only 5 minutes, and folks, there's no discussions here. There's no justification. This is the excuses-free zone. Are you on track for your 80 units? Well, no, because see, what happened was the vendor, stop talking. You're off track. And we're going to move that to a different part of the meeting. Okay? It sounds curt and short and shitty, but I assure you folks, when you're done with this, what happens is people start snapping into line, realizing, I need to own this. I'm either on or off. That's all there is to it. On, off, boom, 5 minutes. The rock reviews. Remember, you're working toward the quarter broken down by the month. You've already established in our prior example that we need to be at X net or X units sold or X CSI. You're going to have your service and parts people in there. We're going to be at X obsolescence. We're going to be at X effective labor rate, whatever the case may be. That is the goal. All right? You want to quickly be able to touch, again, 5 minutes on customer and employee headlines. This is a way for departmental managers, GMs, and or regional groups that get together and do this to be able to quickly disseminate, do we have some champions, some bright spot stars that we need to keep an eye on? Do we have some customer issues that, oh, by the way, you didn't realize is running off the rails? We're running into a potential lawsuit. Oh, you are, says the fixed guy. I'll take care of that problem for you. I've got goodwill money. I'll fix that. Okay, great. Boom, move on. Yes? To-do list from the prior week. This I would write down. There is no point to give someone a to-do unless it becomes to done. Anything other than that is a wish, hope, plan, or a dream. If you give me a to-do, and it's one person that gets the to-do, the to-do might affect an entire store, it might affect an entire team, but one person is accountable for it. And the person that delivers the to-do is responsible to identify who that person is. Okay? And to-dos, when you review them, are to done. Folks, in the upper left, it says time is 5 minutes. It's a yes, no answer. If it's no, it moves elsewhere into the meeting. How far in are we, folks? 20 minutes, maybe? We have a 90-minute meeting. 60 minutes is going to be spent where all the juice is. Okay? But if I know that I'm going into a meeting with my colleagues and the GM and the owner and whoever else for that matter, and I'm not prepared, that's an uncomfortable feeling, don't you think? That'll happen once in a while. It's going to happen. It won't happen long, because the cadence of the room will be, you better be early, you better be prepared, and don't come with any shit excuses. Fair? All right. Now we move to 60 minutes of issues solving. To-dos that are off track. There's no discussion, folks. It goes right to the issues list. You're off track. We're going to discuss it. We're going to figure out what we need to do to help you. Okay? And so on. Your rock is off track. We have a new mandate from the Secretary of State. We don't know what to do with it. It's an issue. We need to talk about it. Okay? And it's not the talk about it part that we hate in the meetings. This has a very specific cadence. Each issue, and I mean big ones, folk, should be solved in less than 15 minutes. You know why? We spend way too much time discussion and no one ever raises their hand and says solved. Okay? So here's the issue. Remember what we said before. You must be specific. Identify the issue. Everyone understands. This is the issue. Now you discuss it. Okay? Discuss is not opinions and rabbit trails. You're discussing it to see if something you've done in your life, something you've done at a prior store, elsewhere in your career, lends some assistance to the solve. The person that owns the issue, when it's solved, says solved, and immediately you move on to the next one. Sometimes, folks, your solve might very well be a to-do. Let's use the Secretary of State issue. It's an issue. We have no idea what to do. Okay. Jim, your to-do, 1 week. You need to call the State Automobile Board. You need to call Secretary of State. You need to go over and meet with our rep. You need to get all the information that you can, and then you present it next week. Is that fair? Okay, great. Move on. You'll solve it next week. Fair? But it's very specific. All right? Then you conclude. It's 5 minutes, folks. 5 minutes. You wrap it up. Okay? You wrap up your meeting with a run-through very quickly. The to-dos that were assigned, so everybody knows. And then you keep notes. And the next week, obviously, you do it again. And at the end, you ask every single participant to grade you. They are not grading the individual, they're grading the collective group. The reason why it's called a level 10 is because out of 10 possible scores, you want to achieve a 10. Okay? Now, you are grading it on 3 things. Facilitation, whoever led the meeting. Participation, did we all share? Okay? And facilitation of what all the next steps are. That's it. You either hit it or you didn't. If it's anything less than a 7, you want to know why. And the reason is so you do better the next week. It's 90 minutes, folks. I know this is a lot, and we've only got a few minutes left. I get it that it's a lot. Because this has been so transformative for us, our goals, our rocks of what we did when we first started this thing were kind of soft. Nobody wanted to make a mistake. We have some wicked stretch goals that are due at the end of September. And some of them are beyond anything, folks, that I ever would have thought our team would have come up with. But they started to feel the efficiency of what being accountable is, not only to yourself, but to your team and to your colleagues. And what starts to happen is it wraps everybody in this great collaborative environment. Yeah, I have a to-do. In order for me to achieve my to-do, I need like 7 other people to help me. It's a big one. But guess what? It's mine, and people understand when I come up and say, I've got a to-do, and it's due in 72 hours. Do you mind? Yeah, I got you. Because I understand you'll get a very uncomfortable discussion in 72 hours if it's not too done. Okay? I'm often accused of, does your hair ever move? Okay? Folks, I really do appreciate your time very much, and I would ask, on behalf of all the men and women that rely on you every single day for your love and your care and your guidance, right? Give the gift of your time into the lives of others, okay? So much of the byproduct of what I've shared with you today, if you've taken away anything that helps you structure, maybe you don't even have meetings with your leadership teams. Maybe you don't have something set in stone. At least do that. Give me the gift of your time so that I'm not running constantly trying to jump from your shoe in my ass because I don't know what I'm supposed to do other than just sell a ton of cars. Go write a shit bunch of service. All right? Give the gift of your time into the lives of the men and women that you're responsible for. It'll set your hair on fire. It did mine this morning when I was working on this. That is my hair, actually. It does move. And so, folks, I really, truly, in my heart, I thank you guys very much for your time. I hope that you find benefit and some value in being able to move just a little bit faster and more efficient. Thank you guys very much. Have a wonderful rest of the conference. Thank you.